I'm Will Petersen with Denison Yachting here in Marina del Rey. Today we're on board the Dufour 430, a 2021 model. We're going to go for a test sail this morning and see how she performs. The Dufour 430 is one of the newest models in the Dufour range. It fits between the 412 and the 470. It has all the features we're used to on other Dufours, as well as a handful of new ones. One of the newest features on the Dufour 430 is the hull-to-deck joint. This rail is much larger, creating a stiffer boat, and it also has integrated lights that go all the way down the rail. We also no longer have a varnished tow rail, which is a lot less maintenance. Another great new feature is the bowsprit. This sprit is integrated to the structure of the hull, making it much stronger. Until now, this bowsprit was only used on larger models. Something previously only found on the Dufour 360 model has now made its way into the Dufour 430, and that is these outward angled helm pedestals, which provide more space in the cockpit. At first, this may not seem like a big deal, but the benefit of this is a much more open and spacious cockpit. The fourth feature I'd like to point out before we kick off today's walkthrough are these retractable davits, found port and starboard. These make launching your dinghy very easy. Since we're at the stern of the boat, let's get things going with the electric opening swim platform. When you see the swim platform down, we have a space for life raft or any other storage, and there's also an integrated swim ladder. The great thing about this swim ladder is it's easily deployable and also has these handles which make it easy to lift yourself up out of the water. One of the most popular features found on all the Dufour models are what we like to call the outdoor patio. You have a nice grill, a sink, and easy storage for your propane bottle. Access to the cockpit is found on the starboard side with an easy 2 steps, bringing you into the area where all the action takes place. The Dufour 430 cockpit is very large and spacious, more so than her predecessor, the Dufour 460. This is something that's going to make the 430 a very popular option. When running this boat, you do so with the twin helms, port and starboard. The helm pedestals are upgraded with these awesome black race wheels. The helm pedestals in front of the wheels provide easy access to the instruments. Here on the starboard side, we have our primary helm station with the Raymarine autopilot, Volvo RPM gauge, and your ignition, start and stop. Outboard on the starboard side, we have our primary winch, electric up and down control for the swim platform, windlass control with chain counter, and our bow thruster control. What makes the bow thruster more unique on the Dufour 430 is that it actually drops down, making it more efficient when deployed. When retracted, it's more hydrodynamic through the water. Centerline between the two helms, we find our Raymarine Hybrid Touch multifunction display. This is easily accessible from the middle of the aft bench seat in the cockpit. One of the final aspects I want to point out while piloting this boat are the adjustable chocks in the cockpit sole. This makes piloting the boat when heeling over much easier. The Raymarine display I mentioned earlier is integrated into the cockpit table. One of the really great features of this cockpit table are the large table leaves port and starboard, which fold up to form a dinette. On port and starboard, we have very long bench seats with comfortable plush cockpit cushions and deep storage and lazarettes on both sides. Forward in the cockpit, we have our companionway Lumar winches. On the starboard side, the winch is electric to make raising the main easy. Another thing we find are the clearly labeled clutches for the control lines. Now let's change gears a little bit and talk about the sail plan for this Dufour 430. First thing we'll notice is a classic mainsail with lazy jacks and a stack pack. With the mainsail hoisted, we can see that there are full battens, which provide more performance when sailing. One of the great aspects of this stack pack is the height, which makes it easy to open and close the bag. All the sail control lines and halyards are led back underneath the coach roof into the cockpit. This ties into a theme we have throughout the deck, where we have minimal tripping hazards and open walkways. One of the things I love midship are the number of opening hatches and skylights, which provide a lot of air and light into the cockpit. In just a few minutes when I show you the salon, you'll see the full effect of these windows. As we make our way forward to the bow, we're going to turn our attention back to the sail plan. Up here you'll notice we have two options for your foresail. The first is a Code 0 furling spinnaker, and the second is a furling self-tacking jib. The first sail we used today was the Code 0 furling spinnaker. This sail is great for downwind and reaching angles and is very fun to use. As you can see from the footage, we had great conditions, flat water, lots of breeze, and the Code 0 was really performing well. On the second half of our sea trial, as we were headed back to the dock, we deployed the self-tacking jib. This sail is great for upwind angles and requires minimal to zero effort when tacking the boat. Last thing I'd like to point out on the bow is the anchor locker, which houses a Lumar windlass that raises and lowers a delta anchor. Wrapping up the exterior of the boat, the next thing we're going to check out is the salon. In the almost 10 years I've been a yacht broker, I've been on a lot of sailboats. And one of the things I've always loved the most about Dufour is the interior layout. On the starboard side, we find a large dinette with seating for 6. This includes a large L shape on the port side and a bench seat centerline. Forward of the dinette is a 32-inch TV on an electric lift. Just after the dinette, we find our chart table. This is something you might not notice at first glance because it doubles as extra seating. When the chart table is raised, you have a very nice desk, easy access to the electrical panel, and any other additional equipment such as a VHF radio can be found overhead. Directly across from the dinette, we see the entrance to a large head and shower stall. Just forward of the head on the port side, we find a love seat, which benefits from a lot of natural light in the boat. Next area I'd like to show you is the galley, which has a split arrangement on either side of the boat. On the port side, we find a large stainless steel sink, as well as a gimbaled stove and oven. Another great option from Dufour on the port side is an integrated drop-in fridge freezer. And speaking of countertops, all of the prep spaces in the galley are real Corian. The second part of the split galley is found on the starboard side. This area features a double drawer style fridge, as well as lots of overhead space for your dishware. Dufour even has an option for a hidden espresso machine on this side of the galley. In addition to all the airline style storage we find at eye level, there's also storage in the floor of the salon. Specifically in two areas, we have storage designed for wine bottles. Between the bottle storage center line, we find the storage for the batteries. Directly after the batteries, we have very easy access under the companionway stairs to the engine. This is the upgraded 60 horsepower Volvo Penta engine with a sail drive and a folding prop. On either side of the engine room, we have a pair of matching aft cabins. Each of these aft cabins features a queen-size berth, which is illuminated by a large side window. Additional ventilation and lighting is found overhead. There are 2 opening hatches within the cabin. We're going to end today's walkthrough just forward of the galley in the master cabin, which has an in-suite private head and shower. In here we have a semi-walk-around queen berth, which is lit up by a pair of windows in the hull, as well as a series of windows overhead. Similar to the aft cabins, only larger, we have hanging storage on the starboard side. This is opposite the ensuite head. Thanks for joining me on today's walkthrough on this all-new Dufour 430. If you have any questions about the boat, options available, or if you would like to see her in person, feel free to contact me anytime.